to perform in front of an audience,
most
the
embarrassing
goal is to project the coolest version of themselves.
Let's go.
It's basically an exercise in making yourself seem superhuman and striving to create moments where your aura ensures that they're hanging on your every word, from the moment you step on stage until the moment you leave them wanting more. Basically, you kind of want it to go like this.
A legendary concert.
But unfortunately, that doesn't always happen. Instead, there have been plenty of times when an artist takes a massive L in front of a crowd of thousands.
Can we talk about the DJ Khaled concert? I don't know what, it was one concert with DJ Khaled and they was not messing with it.
And by the time that it hit social media, the whole world has majorly slip up and get clowned as a result. It's your boy Luesta, and these are rap's most embarrassing performances. Sometimes, the reason why an artist's set is a little cringeworthy to watch is because they can't get the crowd on board. And in an era of cameras filming your every move, a rapper can't even have a few rough sets earlier in their career without the whole world having to learn about it. And one person who found this out firsthand was Coi Leray. Before she ever really found her niche later on, Coi Leray was more accustomed to getting trolled by the hip-hop world than being taken seriously. From her overconfidence in interviews,
everybody tried to shit on me and was like, oh, you're a TikTok artist and all this other stuff. And I was like, man, listen, little do y'all know, I ain't give a fuck. Once I knew that the TikTok drove streams, I'm about my money and I'm about strategy. If you don't appreciate the music and you hating because you can't do it the way I did it, then that's cool. But check the numbers out.
All the way through to her infamous XXL freshman cypher freestyle, where she started dancing when she ran out of bars.
We all get money, yeah, bitch, you all get money, let's go. We all the money,
They really had a lot to work with when it came to taking shots at Benzino's estranged daughter. But the hate and general disinterest that she was receiving from the culture back then really came to a head when she took to the stage at Rolling Loud Miami in 2021. And to say the crowd was uninterested in what
people was hating back in the day, wasn't they? They was hating on the
she was serving up would be an understatement.
They was hating on
like Dory, dubbing these niggas like Lori. Hold on. Don't do it. Applying the pressure, ain't nobody better way up in the sky. Bitches not on my level. We with this shit, my whole gang full of rebels. I don't trust no one that dance with the devil.
Despite trying to give her all to the performance,
nobody was dancing, nobody was singing, nobody was even making noises,
and unfortunately for her, the disdain from the set wasn't limited to those on the premises either.
She cooled out though.
In the live stream chat, she was getting cooked just as badly and told to hold the L. You really can't twerk your way out of this one. With fans saying this looked more like a Rolling Quiet performance, you can only imagine how brutal the comment sections were, with people tearing her apart everywhere the video got posted. As the footage blew up, Coi had to do what most artists do after a rough performance: address it online. She chose to focus on the positives by thanking her fans for all the love. I'm loved by so many people, it blocks out the hate, she stated. It's about over 100 artists who performed on that lineup, and all people want to do is eat up my crack. LOL, gotta love this shit for real, I got good problems. And when that didn't work, she just kept trying to take it in her stride, claiming that it was her originality that was the problem.
I wouldn't be who I am if I wasn't for me, you know?
You chilling, bro.
I feel like there's only one of me, and the reason why everything
just
is
keep
the way
moving
it
forward,
is
you
because
feel
of
me?
me.
Everybody gonna hate.
So it don't matter if they're talking bad or
everybody
good.
Gonna hate.
They're talking.
That's right.
Because of me.
Although it was rough for her back then, Coi is now a far more established part of the female hip-hop landscape and even locked down a few hits over the years. But sometimes, a ridiculous onstage incident can take place for a rapper long after they're already established as a star. And even as you ascend to being one of the biggest icons in the modern era, it can still follow you.
That's why I couldn't get the Travis Scott skin in Fortnite no more.
You around. Just like the time that Travis Scott gave hip-hop an eternal meme by falling in auto-tune.
Oh, never mind. Every time,
Man fell so hard he started speaking in italics. Imagine he died and those were his last words. What happened on this occasion was that Travis Scott was doing a guest spot during Drake's Boy Meets World tour at the O2 in London. And as he got amped up to perform Goosebumps, he clearly forgot to look where he was going. But in typical LaFlame fashion, there was nothing that was gonna stop him from raging, and with the assistance of Drizzy, he soon popped out of the pit of hell that it looked like he landed in.
Why they just got a hole in the stage though? Can we talk about the hole in the stage? Like, why do they just got a hole in the stage? And that's a little suspicious to me.
A little while later, Travis was asked about his tumble, and rather than accept that it was a funny little accident, he tried to play it off as though it was something far more profound than it really was. I didn't fall, dude, I was flying. I was floating. Nothing happened. Floating is amazing. It's like getting in a plane. I'm a magician.
He might have been
David
faded.
Blaine. I could
He
never
might have been
fall.
faded.
But one
He might have
person
been
who was
faded.
presumably less happy about the whole thing was Drake.
We don't
because
care.
in the aftermath of Travis's descent, Drake
Oh, wait.
informed the crowd that the show would be refunded and subsequently gave the money back to all 20,000 attendees. And depending on who you want to believe, this is actually where the line "turn the O2 into the O3" came from on his smash hit "God's Plan."
Turn the
So
O2
while this
into
may have
the
been a bad night
O3.
for Travis, Drake's fans certainly came
I don't
away
even
from
get
it
it.
happy. But on the subject of Drake, his own live show record isn't without its blemishes. And no, that's not a reference to his bullet hole hoodie and accompanying trail of smoke from the Anita Max Wind Tour in Australia. Instead, there was a time where Drake, despite being one of the biggest artists in the world, found himself getting booed off stage.
Yo.
Before getting into that, it's important to note this infamous
That was
encounter
a
at
little
Camp
zesty.
Flogna isn't exactly the only time he slipped up on stage, sometimes literally. Like the time where he forgot he used to be Wheelchair Jimmy in Degrassi and his legs just stopped working. Or the moment early in his career
never
when he
seen
got a
that
little
before.
too up close and personal with a
Yeah.
girl who was
This is what I'm talking about right here. Underage fan.
1 year below the age of 18 and wound
Wow.
up making the news as a result.
Y'all gonna have me get carried away again. I get in trouble for
Real
saying
footage,
this all
real
year.
live footage. He already did it in front of millions of people.
I can't go to jail yet, man. 17? Why do you look like that?
Yes. Oh,
You dick. Look at all this. I don't know if I should feel guilty or not, but I had fun. I like the way your breasts feel against my chest.
But years on from either of these situations, Drake was booked to perform as a surprise headliner at none other than Tyler the Creator's own festival at Dodger Stadium. The only problem that Drizzy had was that this wasn't his crowd. In fact, without Tyler even saying anything, the crowd had jumped to the conclusion that they would be seeing his old Odd Future bandmate Frank Ocean. So when Drake appeared, a vocal
Okay.
section of the crowd were not into it. And after weathering the
What?
storm for a little bit, he asked the audience if they wanted
It's
to see
Frank.
the
He's
show
a big Frankie,
continue.
bro.
And when he was emphatically told no, he left the stage to a chorus of boos.
Like I said, I'm here for you tonight. If you want to keep going, I will keep going tonight. What's up? If you want to keep going, I will keep going tonight. Well, look, it's been love.
Damn.
I love y'all.
They
I go
booed
by
him
the
off
name
the
of Drake.
stage?
Thank you for having me.
As the dust settled, the whole situation prompted an angry response from Tyler, who couldn't believe what he had witnessed. In his estimations, he thought bringing one of the biggest artists on the fucking planet for a music festival was fire. He then admitted he was a little tone deaf knowing the specific crowd it drew, and that some people created a narrative in their head and acted out like assholes when it didn't come true. I don't fuck with that. Y'all represented me
Okay.
and Flog to my guest and made us look so entitled and trash. Since then, Tyler has continually aired his grievances about the whole thing, claiming that it was a bad look for him and his fans collectively.
What was that? Everyone thought Frank was gonna be there, but I never said he was or implied it or anything. And Drake came out. Everyone's having a good time, but it was a few people in the front who were just not fucking with that. The only reason why I was
Dang,
mad
bro.
is because I was like, yo, Aubrey, come to this. Everyone's gonna welcome you with open arms. These kids here don't judge. Like,
they don't do that.
they don't.
This is a safe spot for anyone.
Yeah.
And then when that happened, and these motherfuckers, it's like, fuck you.
Yeah.
It's like a reflection on me to Aubrey, and I'm just like, it's like coming to my house,
Yeah.
and then my kids start peeing on your leg.
Right.
And like you start looking at me like, dog, get your fucking kids, bro.
As for Drake, he did what he does best
Crazy.
and tried to act unbothered by the whole thing by trolling the audience that scorned him on Instagram, with the joke even being saluted by Frank Ocean himself. Plot twist, just signed a 10-year residency at Camp Flogna. Sorry kids, see you every single year till you're 30. Afterward,
Kids.
Drake spoke about
Sorry, kids. Sorry, kids. See you every year. Huh?
the incident on Rap Radar, admitting that the way it played out completely caught him off guard.
Like, I was kind of sitting there going like, you guys know Frank's not here, right? So it's like, you may as well just like get over that and
Rock.
now like let's rock, cause like I'm the guy, I'm the replacement. So we, you know, I got a couple joints if you want to hear 'em. Like it was, yeah. I just walked myself into a situation that like, but at the end of the day, I knew right away. I'm like, they came to see a different show. Yeah. I already knew I was the talk of the gram for like the next 2 days. So I was like,
unfortunately, artists sometimes need to adapt to hostile or even just flat out uninterested crowds, because otherwise it's going to be a long night.
Are we talking about
DJ Khaled? DJ Khaled, this is something he's had to get accustomed to. Considering there's always a lot of speculation over what exactly Khaled does, there's no surprise that he's not exactly the most in-demand live performer. And when you book him to play at an EDM festival, things get even worse, as despite his numerous attempts to try and get them on board, it just didn't work.
DJ Khaled, the best.
If you all the way up, put your hands in the sky like this.
He made this song?
I'm
all the way up.
Nothing can stop me. I'm all the way
How was it not bopping with this, bro? It must have been last year. It must have been.
That was painful to watch.
That's
but rather than take any kind of responsibility, he essentially said it wasn't his fault in a post on Instagram, where he said they tried to sabotage his sound. I still stood on stage with no sound, and when they got it to work, they want to cut my set short. They don't want us to win, so we win for their head top. It's all love though, I forgive them. To no one's shock except Khaled's, people didn't exactly buy this explanation, particularly when there was no excuse for the similarly muted response at Social Gloves, a boxing event in Miami.
I remember. This is the one I was talking about. That's bad. I think okay, look it. There's no way nobody was singing to this. I feel like the microphone or something and the cameras, like the way it was being broadcasted, probably has something to do with the way that it looked. Right? There's no way nobody was. Come on, bro.
This is what happens when I memorize something for an exam and the different questions come. When the homeless guy walks past your car screaming, as painful as that was to watch, at least no one was physically hurt. But the same can't be said for what happened when Miguel took the stage at the Billboard Music Awards. Ooh. As he was flying high with his debut album at the time, Miguel was performing at the BBMAs and wowing audiences with a rendition of Adore. But when he tried to leap from one side of the crowd to the other, things went left.
What do you mean one side to the other?
And that he didn't just hit a Matt Hardy style leg drop from the top rope. In the aftermath, the whole thing had the world cracking up.
Falling is an accident. That was a well-timed, strategic Hulk Hogan leg drop. Yeah, this is
Bro, he wasn't trying to leg drop nobody, bro. What
it is with Miguel. Miguel's black and Mexican. So what he did on that stage was release his inner Mexican wrestler. I think he did that in rehearsals and he made the jump with a sweatsuit and some Jordans on. But when he was on stage, he forgot you're in a tight suit and some freaking high-heeled wedges. You got wedges on. People don't realize he took out 2 chicks. He kicked one chick with one foot and then strategically damn near decapitated another woman with his other leg.
After the fact, Miguel was constantly questioned about it and claimed that he did everything he could to check on the girl. I think it's kind of clear what happened, but I'm very happy to bring my new friend, Kiati. We just met. Unfortunately, we did not meet under the best circumstances, but I think we're okay. And even though it kept getting brought up, he insisted he handled it the right way.
Day one, the day of, I was mortified. Yeah. First of all, because you have to remember, like, I'm still human, so my natural inclination is to be.
We know you're human,
okay?
buddy.
Yeah, that's the natural. That's the natural thing to do. But the professional part is you have to finish the show. Yeah. Had I stopped the show, I stopped it, it would have been even worse. Yeah. It would have been extremely worse on national television. Everyone, can you imagine? Yeah. As soon as the camera pops off, rush to the girl. Are you okay? Come on, let me take you to the infirmary. I escorted her myself, but I make sure she's getting the medical attention that she deserves and she needs.
Okay, so we good. He made a mistake.
One of the victims, Cindy, announced that she was suing Miguel and MGM Grand for negligence, claiming his jump caused her injuries. She was reportedly seeking compensation for medical bills and lost wages. Meanwhile, Kiati Shah, who really took the brunt of it, has not filed any lawsuit against Miguel. But sometimes
she was happy to be there. Like, come on, bro.
Audience members who are injured at shows, but an artist's credibility. And in the case of Smoke Perp, this would happen in spectacular.
His live stream where he tried to freestyle like Juice WRLD, but it didn't work out.
fashion during a performance at Dave & Buster's. Once seen as a leading light of the so-called mumble rap wave, Smokepurpp galvanized a massive audience at one point in time. Initially aligned with Cactus Jack, the rapper and producer likely thought he had longevity. But as it turns out, the 1985 effect that J. Cole once warned his friend Lil Pump about came into effect. And soon, he got a reputation for being a bad performer stemming from a Boston show where he left early after only 15 people showed up, and essentially refusing to give the audience what they paid to see.
Last night at his show in Boston, once he realized not that many people were gonna be showing up, he decided to dip out after playing like 2 songs. Here's a video of some guys just panning to the crowd once again, completely empty, guys. Nobody's in there. Okay, even the DJ's like, what the fuck is going on? I mean, literally, guys, you're looking at about...
What are y'all doing at a Smokepurpp concert? You would not catch me there.
What,
Batman
20
wouldn't
people
catch-
in a
you couldn't,
room,
bro.
guys posted up on the wall.
At the time, a photographer relayed how poorly he behaved at the show and essentially put him on blast. 3 to 4 songs go by and he's not doing anything. He's walking around looking at the audience. Then I realized that these aren't even his songs. He's playing music from X, Lil Peep, Juice WRLD, and all of his
He wasn't even playing
friends.
his own
Then,
music?
as I'm about to go take a photo with him with the crowd, he drops the mic and walks away. The lights come on and he leaves. He promised a meet and greet, but there was nothing. I don't care about Purpp at all. If you go to a show, regardless of the amount of people that show up, the least you could do is give them a performance. I hate this mentality that there's rappers who feel entitled
Real
to
talk,
the point
bro.
where they won't
Everybody
even give you the
starts
bare
somewhere. You don't
minimum
gotta
for a
start off
performance
blowing out
because it wasn't what they
concerts.
expected. The people who planned
Blowing
the
out,
show
you
spent
know,
money for you
arenas.
to waste it.
You're
That's
not
what
Kendrick
happens, I
yet, you
guess.
feel me?
As for the fans, they weren't any less
Popularity
enraged.
wise.
Straight up like some
At least
bullshit.
show up for your fans, the ones that actually waited and sick.
Yeah, and we're here trying to give you some fucking money, bro. We're trying to we're trying to help you eat. And you're trying to eat somewhere else? The fuck?
Shortly after that, Smokepurpp was booked to perform at a Dave & Buster's. And to say that the crowd was a little lacking would be an understatement.
My niggas scammers and robbers. Yeah, every day hit like they dollars. Double my chains in the water.
Damn.
Since then, his reputation has never recovered, and in all
Especially
likelihood,
after that-
it won't.
that
But there
freestyle,
have been
bro.
others who managed to get up, dust themselves
Is that
down,
Rod
and
Wave?
start over, like Rod Wave, for example. Among the biggest concert draws around right now, Rod Wave consistently packs fans into arenas at a rate that outshines some artists that you consider to be more famous than him. And nowadays, he even adds a bit of theatrics to his performances.
If you ever need me, come see me.
But long before that, Rod,
what is
who isn't
happening?
exactly the skinniest rapper around, was getting trolled for basically destroying a stage by stepping on it.
Hey, it's like 1 in the morning right now.
Even though he had to cancel the show afterward, Rod kept it lighthearted, posting on Instagram saying, "Pimp down. I repeat, pimp down." Amid endless jokes about his weight, Rod wasn't convinced it was his fault. And in an interview, he suggested that there was sabotage before reconsidering just how much of an entourage he had with him, a lot of whom he didn't even know.
Oh, you think somebody did that on purpose?
Had to be, bro. Like I done been in the worst places, bro. I done been in hole in the walls, bro. Like coming up, like doing this shit. I done been away. That was in school.
You
bro.
can tell
Like,
he can sing just by the way he talk, bro. That's kind of crazy.
Somebody really. I ain't tripping about that
That was low key glazing, bro. What am I doing?
shit, though.
How many people you had on stage with you?
Yeah, we was a little deep, though. I ain't gonna lie.
So it could have been your fault.
It could have been, though, bro. But damn, a nigga falling through the stage.
Yeah.
When something goes wrong on stage, the best thing you can do is shake it off and keep going. And Designer did exactly that, even after throwing up mid-performance. At the peak of his fame, this New York rapper was riding high off of Panda, backed by a cosign from Ye and a spot on the Good
Panda.
Music roster. When it came to his live shows, he was known for bringing non-stop energy and giving the crowd everything he had. Well, on one occasion, he gave a little too much, leading him to throwing up mid-performance without even pausing to catch his breath or process what just happened. After the fact, Designer, who was hit with accusations of drug abuse after this occurred, said it was just a shot of Henny that went wrong.
Bro, man, so that's when you get no sleep, bro, and you book like probably like 4 times a night, bro. Like you just like just on the road, bro. I was on the road at that time, just like stupid every night, bro. Like it was no sleep, you know what I mean? So
Where is he, bro?
I was just
What am I
getting up,
looking at
bro,
right now?
probably in the middle of sleep,
These are some crazy, you know what I'm saying?
Like,
come
on,
up
bro.
there.
Oh, like,
The buns and the honey.
You feel me? Let that go. I'm like, all right, hopefully everybody forget about this. Let's keep it going.
Thankfully, he kept it pushing and managed to conclude the set without any incident. While during one of Ray Shremmerd's performances, things went a little differently for one of the sibling duo. Riding high off their string of hit singles, Ray Shremmerd brought a wild party vibe to their live shows whenever they went, with Slim Jimmy appointing himself as the self-styled turn-up king. But at the Governor's Ball in New York, things went a little too far, leading to him taking a nasty fall from a speaker that resulted in a big gash on his leg. As he was taken to be assessed by the medical team, his brother Sway Lee had to kill time while he recovered.
I mean, like, this shit is crazy. Like, I wish I could show you what the fuck just happened right here. That shit is sick. That shit is crazy. On 3, man, we gotta say, God bless Slim Jim. 1, 2, 3. God bless Slim Jim.
They're running the concert
Sway and
now.
their DJ described him as world star level fucked up, Jimmy eventually clarified that he was alright.
Go pray for Slim, man, because he's really hurt, like, so bad. Like, he hurt so bad right now. Talk about world star fucked up. Hey, yo, I'm not dead.
Despite the injury, he pushed through and finished the show like a champ, only to end up in the ER afterward. And while Slim landed in the hospital, one rapper who was lucky to avoid the fate was none other than Tekashi 6ix9ine, a guy who hasn't exactly had the best track record with crowd surfing. During his initial run in the game, energy was
Can
everything.
we leave him in What year was he a thing? 2019? 2018? Can we leave it there?
For Tekashi 6ix9ine. Led by his high-octane tracks with their shouted vocals, he had no shortage of wild live shows when on his tours. But this love he received didn't always translate when he stepped out of his own bubble, and he would learn this the hard way at a Fetty Wap show when he came crashing down to earth.
Dodging this shit.
As you can see, his back took the full brunt of the impact, and it could have gone really bad.
My God.
I went to go jump, but I'm so hype on stage, I'm not looking at the crowd, you know what I'm saying? Everyone's telling me that I jumped in a group of 10 girls, frail ass girls, you know what I'm saying? When I jump, I hit a spin, so I don't hit nobody with my knees. So I went, and all the girls just mid-air, I see them just move. I just let God take it from there.
And while he briefly thought he was in real danger, it didn't stop him from doing it again the following day at a Marshmello show with similarly disastrous results.
Wow.
It was the next day I was at Marshmello show. It's just,
This is the definition of insanity.
I'm always, every time I get dropped is when I'm at somebody else's show. It's not my show. So I jumped at Marshmello show, hit the pavement again. But I took a girl with me though.
Now, it's a rare occasion when you need to salute Tekashi for getting up and keeping it moving. However, it's not quite as impressive as how Bay Area legend Richie Rich recovered when he got seriously injured on stage. In fact, the OG handled it so well that it went from embarrassment to absolute baller behavior. During a live show with rising Bay Area star La Russell, Richie Rich was performing their track What We Doin' and really began getting into it with the Young Guns. The only problem was that his 56-year-old body didn't cooperate and he shattered his knee.
Running up hills on rap. Y'all know where they come for the slap?
But amazingly, the Oakland icon wasn't to be deterred and immediately spit his verse like it was nothing, before eventually changing his verse to insist that he needed some medical attention.
Bust the game down like an A for blow. Rocked it up, blew my knee. Do you see that, Joe? Still flowing, nigga, and I can't stand up. Niggas in the hood call a doc man up. What we doing? Fucking with a nigga on stage. What we doing? Blew my knee, acting out my age. What we doing? I don't really even give a fuck. What we doing?
And with that, we saw a masterclass of turning a potentially embarrassing situation into something
that is crazy. The level of emotional, mental control that you need to be able to freestyle in front of thousands of people when you just broke your knee on stage, on the spot, is crazy. Nah, that is insane.
Slick, as in the aftermath, he got nothing but admiration. It's a lot of rappers, but that's an MC. Didn't lose the flow, kept the crowd going, diagnosed himself, kicked the freestyle, and made some jokes after. Salute to Richie Rich for showing the younger artists out there.
WVIT, bro. That's crazy. We gonna like that. W Vid, bro. Let's go.